Welcome to the Spunky Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, psychic medium Carrie Muggs. This is where we learn all things spirit, everything from spiritual gifts, awakenings, ghosts, aliens, and starseeds. Nothing is untouchable, but always fun and spunky. I am honored to be on this spiritual journey with you, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Hello, and welcome to this week's podcast episode about dreams. I am Carrie Muggs, and we're going to talk about dreams today because dreams are my favorite. I have dreamt forever. I'm very clairvoyant, very, very visual. So if you guys know your clairs, you know clairvoyancy means visual. I have a couple of kids, my brother, lots of family members who are that's how their messages come to them, is through dreams. And I know some people out there can't remember their dreams, or they say they don't dream. I think they just can't remember them. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on dreaming, but I know I have dreamt my whole life. And that's where I've had a lot of my messages come through, a lot of my, especially during that, time in between. I call it the Peter Pan time. You've heard me call it that before. The time in between sleep and awake. And you're kind of in that. That's where I get a lot of my downloads, so I think, a lot of people are like, well, you can't fall asleep when you're meditating. I don't know if that's entirely true, because when I meditate and I kind of doze off, right as I'm dozing off is when I get a lot of my information, I get downloads without dozing off too, and I have dreams, but my favorite part is that in between stage, because then it gets crazy. And I have to just share with you, Sigmund Freud said dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. And so those are that's my favorite time. Now, when I was little, I would lucid dream a lot, and that's when I would be able to control the dreams. So when you could control them. And there is a difference between lucid dreaming and OBEs. And OBE means out-of-body experience, and that's when you go to the astral realm. I kind of think that lucid dreaming and OBEs both happen in the astral realm. I think they both take place in the astral realm. But I believe that the OBEs are when you know you're outside of your body. You can see your body laying there, and you have that experience of being in the astral realm, knowing you're detached from your body. Lucid dreaming is when you're in the astral realm, but you don't know you're detached from your body, and you can control everything that's going on. You can control flying. You have all control of the dreams. So I kind of feel like those are the differences. And I honestly too, I don't think I've ever said this. Sleep paralysis is a little different for me. I haven't had very good experiences with sleep paralysis, but I firmly believe, and this is just me, you can take somebody, if it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. I kind of believe sleep paralysis doesn't feel very good. It feels like somebody else is controlling. It feels like you have no control. I really believe that sleep paralysis happens when a lower frequency is trying to get into your dreams. I remember watching a show called Dreamscape a long, long time ago about how people would be able to go into other people's dreams, and they used it for good, but one of the dream people used it for bad. One of the ones that could get into other people's dream, they would go in and make them a nightmare. So that's kind of where I really feel like a lower frequency is trying to, when you have sleep paralysis, I feel like they're trying to control you, and that's why you can't move. And that's why when you wake up, you feel out of sorts and you kind of have a yucky feeling, because I feel like that's kind of what's going on. I could be wrong. That's just my interpretation of it. So, we all need to sleep, right? We all need to sleep. And it used to be that they thought that we needed to sleep because we needed our body to rest. But I really believe, and now they're kind of coming to a place where they're saying that your brain needs to sleep, your brain needs to have that rest, or your brain needs to download or refunction. And I believe that because I do believe that when we're asleep, our consciousness goes somewhere else. A lot of people don't believe that. They really believe in the brain functionality while we're sleeping. But if you ever read a book called Proof of Heaven, he is a brain surgeon and he had a near-death experience, and he talks about the difference between the brain functionality and our brain when we have near-death experiences. A lot of people will say your brain does really weird things, your brain does this. And he kind of goes, in this book, he kind of talks about how it isn't your brain, it's an outer consciousness. And I really believe that the outer consciousness is control of dreams. I believe dreams are messages from your guides. I believe that dreams are messages from ancestors, especially very vivid dreams. I believe they're visits. And I honestly believe if you have a dream with an ancestor that's passed over and it's not vivid, I still kind of feel like that's a visit, or that's them being part of your night, your sleep night. You're like when you're asleep and you have these dreams. Also, too, a lot of shamans believe that that's when they do their. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where they do a lot of their medicine work. They go into dreams and help people heal in dreams. Now, I was actually getting my eyebrows done, like not done, but redone, because I had them done about a year ago. And I had never really, I'd watched the show Dreamscape, but the girl who was doing my eyebrows, who I adore, was talking about how she wants to just jump into other people. She wants to dream jump. Now, I've heard of time jumping, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if dream jumping is a thing. I've never really thought of that. I saw that movie a long time ago when I was little, but so it kind of makes me wonder, is that a thing? Can you do that? And so I've been kind of wondering and kind of looking into it, and I thought, what a perfect podcast to do about dreams, because dreams are so mystical, and they're beautiful and scary and all the things. And I really do believe that, some of our dreams are our subconscious, like things that we've gone through the day, things that we have, problems that we have. Sometimes they always say, just get a good night's sleep, because our subconsciousness, and some people think it's our brain, but we'll pick that up and try and eradicate that, or try and make that better, or try and answer that, or try and give you the problem solving things that you need for different things. And lots of times loved ones will come in and visit us in dreams. But I really think, and I know my guides, man, they come through all the time. When I first started awakening, I was having these dreams that I was so blind. Like I was having like recurring not nightmares, but I was functioning, but I couldn't do stuff because I couldn't see. My eyes were shut and I couldn't see, and I couldn't figure out how to open them. And I was telling people, I can't open my eyes. And then one night I had a dream, and there was this big, huge eye right in front of me. And I had just realized that my third eye had been shut, or I had been going through some issues, and so my third eye, or my clairvoyance wasn't working the way it should be. And so then once I started to realize that, I could mend that issue or start to work on that. So dreams are so profound, and I know a lot of people don't. If you don't remember your dreams, I highly recommend to all my clients, to all my people, to keep a dream journal. Even if you have to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and write down what you dreamed, because there's so much significant, and be so detailed, and write down the feelings. Because it's great to go to a dream interpreter, but sometimes the feelings aren't there. And so I need you to write down, in your journal, write down all the different things, and little things, little detailed things, like if you see a key in the dream, or if you're unlocking a door in the dream. Those are all such symbolic things. So some of my information that I'm going to get is from a book called The Dream Dictionary from A to Z by Teresa Chang. I got this book because I was starting to do a lot of readings, and I wanted to know what some of the symbols mean that Spirit was showing me during readings. And so I would go in and okay, I saw a lion during this reading. Was it really that they just saw a lion, or is it that this is symbolic of what it means? So I started kind of looking at the different symbols. And so this book's been really, really awesome. William Shakespeare said, he quoted that sleep is a balm for the hurt minds, nature's great second course. So we all need sleep. There are lots of people, like I just remember when I was doing my, Beachbody days, I was always, and I don't know if I was told this or just thought this, but I had to work, work, work. And sleep was a luxury. You don't sleep. You grind, you hustle, you do the things, and sleep was like a last priority. And now that's switched. The hustle mentality is gone, and rest is so much more important. And you just let things flow. For me, anyways, that's what I realized. And sleep is so important. I would much rather, if you don't sleep, you can't function, and you need that sleep. So Albert Einstein, he actually got 10 hours of sleep a day. 10 hours, because he totally believed in the sleep. Now Tesla, Albert Einstein would also take a nap. So he would get 8 hours of sleep and then take a nap during the afternoon. Brilliant. And Tesla actually only got 5 hours of sleep. Well, he'd rest for 3 and sleep for 2. And I do think Freud, I'm not sure, but I think if I remember right, I heard a story about he would try and stay awake because he wanted to he would try and keep himself awake because he wanted to go into the lucid dreaming or the Tinkerbell time, because that's when he would get all of his downloads. So he would try and keep himself awake so he could do that, when really all you need to do is meditate to get that. So it says, some of the stuff that I'm getting from this book, I'm going to read a little insert of why it says we need sleep, because we know sleep is essential for our well-being, but we don't understand why we dream. And I feel like it's because we upload, or we raise our frequency, or we talk to our spiritual team, or we learn more stuff in our sleeping. I mean, 8 hours. 8 hours is a long time. So, and it goes by so fast. I think we're just learning so much and resting. For centuries, it was thought that we needed sleep to rest the body and the mind, but this was disproved in the 1920s with the first electronic monitoring of the brain. So I guess the brain gives off some electrical impulses, and by attaching electrodes to various parts of the head, and they can measure the brain waves. So they do this with the ECGs, and they show that both the body and the mind are very active during sleep. So if sleep doesn't rest you, so sleep doesn't really rest either your body or your mind, then what's it for, right? And again, I believe it's because we go to where we come from, or we visit our loved ones, or we do that. I think that's why it's so profound when people say, "I'll see you in my dreams," because I really do. I really do think that we do. We don't know for sure, but sleep researchers have uncovered some very intriguing things. It seems that when we fall asleep, our brains act a little like computers that are offline. This means they are not idle, but filing and updating. They do a system check on your body and release hormones to repair damaged tissue, stimulate growth, and fight infections. Sleep, therefore, is vital to the smooth running of many functions of your body and your brain, including memory, problem solving, and attention. Lack of sleep can lead to dementia, high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, premature aging, weight gain, and lowered immunity. In short, sleep is essential, and we spend up to a third of our lives doing it. But doctors, despite all this, we aren't entirely sure why we need it, and most doctors still don't pay attention to the obvious importance sleep of our physical and mental health for dreaming. But in the advent of space travel, of all things, it has taught us that little more sleep, what is she trying to say? However, the advent of space travel, of all things, has taught us a little more about sleep and why we need it. Scientists found that the prolonged periods of isolation and lack of external stimulation experienced by astronauts dramatically decreased their need for sleep. There is a sleep control center in our brains when that gets overloaded with external stimuli, we get tired. So when there's lots of stuff going on around us, we get tired. If we're by ourselves and we are in isolation, we don't need as much sleep. Isn't that crazy? Sleep is so crucial that your brain decides you have to quit you've had quite enough stimulation and it's time for you to switch off and recharge. So if you're getting too much stimulation, this is probably why readings make me tired, because 3 hours every day, 3 to 4 hours of the stimulation and talking to spirits makes me tired. So, and this is probably why. So that's kind of interesting too, I thought. Also too, I love this because I think dreams are so spiritual. I think they have to do with a sort of conscious thing. Not, I mean, obviously our brain has to function, but I don't believe the dreams come from the brain. I believe they come from a different kind of consciousness, and that's where I kind of got that idea from Proof of Heaven, and he kind of stated that. So this is what I love too. This was by Shuangzi. And he says, one day there will come a great awakening when we shall realize that life itself was a dream. So it kind of makes you wonder, what's really the dream, right? Like, are we in a dream right now from somewhere else? Or, and when we sleep, we go to our original spot, or it just fascinates me to know, and it's my favorite clairvoyance. So, like I said, I think that some of it's our subconscious trying to answer and help some of our own problems that we go through each day. And some of it's our guides, and some of it's our ancestors. And one of the most famous dreams, obviously, was from the Bible with Joseph in the Technicolor Dream Code, that one. He had a dream. He had a prophesying dream, which lots of people can do. It's kind of like deja vu. I kind of believe, too, deja vu, I believe that some of your dreams are prophesying and telling you this is what's going to happen in the future. And then when you actually do that, it's kind of, the deja vu is like telling you, okay, you're going in the right direction because this is what you prophesied, this is what you saw for yourself, and this is what you're doing. Joseph, he had a dream, and he had a dream that he saw his brothers and his family bowing down to him. And he told his family this, and the brothers got ticked. And so they thought it was so crazy that their little brother they were going to serve their little brother, who was also the favorite. So they threw him in a ditch, or in a pit. And then he was, the story. He was caught, and then he did some good work for, I think it was Potiphar, and then he got thrown in jail because Potiphar's wife was a liar. And so he's in jail, and then he starts to interpret these dreams, the baker's dream and the other guy's dream. And so the baker gets out of jail. I think it was the baker. I might be getting these stories wrong, but you know me, and I don't care. Sorry. So anyways, the baker gets out, and the Pharaoh, the king, is having lots of different dreams and he can't interpret them. And the baker tells the Pharaoh of Joseph, and Joseph comes out and he interprets the dreams and tells them that there's going to be 7 years famine and 7 years abundance. And so during the abundance, they prepare, and then there is a 7 years famine. His family comes and asks for food, and they bow down to him and ask him for food. And so it's crazy. It's not crazy. It's awesome. Dreams are awesome. And there's sometimes we just kind of shove them away, or we think that they're not that important, but I really believe that they are really important. And some of them don't make any sense, and that's okay, because I feel like they will eventually, or one day, you might figure out, okay, that's what that means. I do have lots of people in my family. I do have a couple of kids who can have dreams. My brother's pretty good dreamer, and they can be interpreted, or they are prophetic dreams. And I think it's because it's part of their gift, but they also don't practice their gift, and so that's how it comes through for them. So I think it's kind of cool. Now, how can you remember your dreams or interpret your dreams? Buy a dream book. My favorite one so far is the Dream Dictionary from A to Z by Teresa Cheng. Teresa was born into a family of psychics and spiritualists, and she kind of knows a lot about the dreams. I want to know more about dreams. I love astrology, but I really love dreams. I'm really into dreams. But also too, you keep a journal of all the dreams that you have, and you write detailed what they are. And also too, there's different stones and crystals that can help you dream and help you. So like a lot of people will put Lemurian stone underneath their pillow, and you can do that. You can put crystals or stones underneath your bed. Amethyst is one of the most crystals known to stimulate the third eye chakra, and it also serves as a connection to the spiritual realm. Also, clear quartz would be good, and I like my Lemurian stone, but just know too, if you use your Lemurian stone, you can do a lot of astral traveling. And you can also do teas and help that before you go to bed. So the mugwort tea, that is supposed to help with your dreaming and help them become more visual or more vivid. You can have those different things. So just because it helps with the serotonin or the melatonin, or it helps with that, and it helps you to sleep better, and it would help you have more vivid dreams. So you can use crystals, teas, I don't know, and any kind of like CBD oil, things like that help. CBD doesn't help me very much sleep. I've tried it. It doesn't, it's actually kind of worse. It makes it worse for me. Magnesium also helps, and mediums, people who are very clairvoyant, need a lot of magnesium. They can get headaches a lot, so magnesium's good. All of these can help you sleep better and have more vivid dreams. And also too, you can just ask. You can just ask your guides, please come to me in a dream, or please let me know you're there in a dream. Help me to understand this. And then if you do get messages in dreams too, you can also ask them to be more like, if you have a dream and you don't know how to interpret it, and you write down all the signs and all the symbols that you received and all the details, you can ask your spirit team, okay, show me more, or please make this more clear. That's the one thing I learned too. Sometimes we just expect our spiritual team to just drop these things in our laps, and this is such a free agency. We have such free agency that they can't do that. We have to ask. We have to ask for an archangel's help. There are times when it's an emergency and they can come in if it's written in the contract that something like that isn't supposed to happen yet, or if they're trying to help us that way. But most of the time for stuff like this, we have to ask for them. So we have to ask for them to guide us and direct us. We can't just sit on the couch and be like, okay, show me what's next. We have to ask for their guidance in the direction. So it would seem logical maybe too that we ask for dreams. The other reason I bring up dreams a lot right now too is because I keep getting this download from Spirit that they really are working on everybody's clairvoyancy right now. They're working on everybody's vision because they want people to see the truth. And so some of our clairsentients are kind of shutting down a little bit because they're trying to work on more of the clairvoyance. And this is why it seems like it's a little chaotic, because your emotions seem shut and off. And it's because they're really trying to work on this clairvoyance thing. And also too, this is why lots of people are having head colds and stuffy noses and headaches and things like that, because we're all getting a little bit of an upgrade as far as the clairvoyance goes. And I think it's a collective thing. I don't just think it's one or two people. I think it's, as a collective, everybody's kind of getting this frequency raised, because it's kind of important, because there's going to be truth bombs that are dropped here pretty in a little bit, and I think that they want people to be able to see the truth and the validity of it. And so that's why I kind of want to talk about dreams too, because to work on your clairvoyance, you're going to maybe start to have lots of dreams, or starting to have lots of visions, or starting to see things in the corner of your eyes. And so I kind of thought, sometimes I struggle with what to talk about on the podcast, and Spirit really came through and said, you need to talk about dreams this time, because I feel like everybody's kind of going through them. They're super important. There's more importance to them than you realize. And if you don't dream, ask to start dreaming. It just means that you're not clairvoyant, so you don't remember them as much. It's not that you're not having them. So ask, say a little prayer at night, ask to have good dreams, and also ask if you can remember them and have a memory of them, and ask if you can know the meaning of them. So I just think dreams are the most fascinating things. I love astrology because my dad did. And he loved the stars. He was in the Air Force, and we would sit underneath the stars, and he would show me all the things. And I even have the app and I love to stargaze. I get so ahead of myself. I have the app that you can put up into the stars, and it'll tell you what stars are what. Reminds me of my dad, because my dad used to show me what stars were what. But I've always been mostly fascinated in dreams. So if there was a way that I could just do all dream work or dream stuff and study, I totally would. Because I feel like it's my biggest communication with spirit, my clairvoyance, and I feel like it's my it's just my life source to spirit a lot of times. And especially because when I meditate, I see things like in dreams, and it's kind of crazy. Like, so some of the visions that come to me when I do readings, it's like me having a dream, especially when spirits come through and want to tell me about what it looked like where they grew up. And lots of, they'll show me what the house kind of looked like, if it was brick or if it was white. These are very clairvoyant spirits, and they know that I'm clairvoyant, so it's easier for them. Now, if the spirit was more auditory, then they're going to talk to me through clairaudience more, which is fine, because I can do clairaudience, but my very favorite is clairsentience and clairvoyance. But I mostly spirits talk to me through claircognizance. But I love it when a spirit's a little more visual, because I can see it like I'm having a dream about it and I'm actually awake. But if I am giving readings and I shut my eyes, it's mostly because I'm trying to vision it in a dream, or it's because I'm picking up psychically from my client and I don't want to pick up information psychically. So anyways, that's the dreamland. I love dreams. They can be scary, but I think a lot of that is sometimes our worst fears come up through our dreams and try and tell us, okay, you need to get rid of this fear to move forward. And a lot of people, cool thing. I wanted to show you some of the things that happen, that some people, famous people that have had dreams, that prophetic dreams, I thought was really cool too. So we all know Genghis Khan, right? So Genghis Khan is reported to have received his battle plans in a dream. It was also said that a dream told him he was the chosen one. I thought that was cool. Now these I'm getting out of the Dream Dictionary. I thought these were interesting. Robert Louis Stevenson was convinced his best stories, including the main device in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, came to him in dreams. Suffering as a child from nightmares, he reportedly learned to control his dreams so he would no longer have nightmares. He said these dreams inspired his writings. Days before his assassination, Abraham Lincoln dreamed of loud wails coming from the east wing of the White House. When it was investigated, he was told by soldiers on guard that they were weeping for the president who had been assassinated. So that's what Lincoln dreamed. He dreamed that there was the president was assassinated, and in the East Wing. And days later, Lincoln's body was laid in state in the East Wing so people could pay their last respects. So Lincoln did dream about his own death before it happened. So I thought that was so cool too. We all know Stephenie Meyers. She had a dream about the book, The Twilight. She dreamed about that before she wrote it. Italian violinist and composer Giuseppe Tartini composed one of his greatest works, The Devil's Trill, after a dream he had in 1713. In the dream, he handed his violin to the devil himself. That is so crazy. One night in 1816, Mary Shelley, her husband, and a group of friends were challenged to each write a ghost story. That night, Mary dreamed of a creature and would later become the monster created by Victor Frankenstein by her yet-to-be-written novel. Paul McCartney heard a haunting melody in one of his dreams, confirmed that none of the Beatles had heard it before, and wrote it down. It became the tune for his song Yesterday. I love that song. In 1964, golfer Jack Nicklaus told a reporter how his dreams helped him practice significantly to improve his golf swing. So dreams are super important. I love them. I love everything about them. I just think they're extraordinary, and I just think they're phenomenal, and I would love to learn more about them. And I think that they're more important than we know. And I don't think that they just come from our brains. I think it's a subconscious or a conscious thought or something outside of ourselves, not directly inside of ourselves. That's, either our higher self or our guides. I think it's kind of downloaded into our brain. Our brain is the transmitter, and I think that these dreams come from an outside source, and they're downloaded the best they know how, like a computer, into our brain. So it's almost like downloading something. That's why people say downloads, because, like a computer, when we download information into a computer, it's kind of like, I think that that's sometimes how people get their downloads, spiritual downloads, is in dreams. And so I think it's great. So just be more aware of your dreams. Ask your spirit team to give you more dreams. Ask for more guidance in dreams. Just kind of play with it, because if you ask for it, I think you'll get it. I've never experienced asking my spiritual guides for something and them not somehow bringing it through. It might not be what I want it to be, but they eventually bring it through. So I love you guys so much, and I think that's about it. I think my retreat is pretty much full. I think there's maybe 2 spots open. I do have a spirit circle coming up on June 28th, but I think it's almost full because my Patreon people got first dibs on that. But watch for that next week. If there's any openings, they'll open then. So I think that's it. I'm going to kind of just do every other Thursday for podcasts just for the summer, so I can spend some time with my family and just kind of take some downtime. But I love you guys so much. Oh, please be careful of scammers out there. It is a ongoing thing that mediums have on their accounts. People get their account or copy their account, and then they DM people and asking them if they want to read it, and then the people send them money for readings. I will never do that, you guys. That's just why I don't follow a lot of my followers too, is because it's not that I don't love you. It's just that, 1, if I see your stories and you have a reading, it will taint the reading. And 2, I would never DM you for a reading. I will never reach out to you and ask for money, ever, ever, ever. So it's just, and any legit reader won't. So if you have any healers or readers that are asking you, say they feel your funky energy and that they ask for money for more, don't buy into that. So just be aware of the scammers that are out there. Okay, see you guys in a couple weeks. If you like this podcast and would like to share it with others, please